Beautiful, nice weather, not too hot. Nice, it's warm, as you can see, very clear skies, a very slight breeze, nothing heavy, no heavy winds, and just very comfortable, very nice, very beautiful. I'm enjoying a cup of coffee, a nice drive. I somewhat have the day off today. I have a few errands to run that are work related, but nothing major. It's small stuff, a couple things to follow up on. Customer care type things. Yeah, I gotta follow up with some stuff like that. Touch base with some workers about a project. And yeah, just starting my weekend. Friday. Loving it, man. This is great. This road's a little bumpy. You can probably tell. Doesn't look like it's had any new asphalt on it in who knows how many years. Possibly decades, who knows. Sure could use it. I would think there's plenty of money around here for something like this. I mean, you got those in this area. I would think the tax revenue from that could cover putting in some new asphalt and striping this road. There's a park here. Put me in charge. I'll show them how to do it. No, I do think that they should be able to do this. I don't know why they're not. I don't know if it's just not a priority. I'm not sure. Seems like there's enough money to do it. There's definitely a need for it, obviously. I mean, look at this road. Come on. So yeah, this is a nice little park. I really like it. Looks like, some sprinklers are on. You can see a mist of the water coming over the fence there on the left. Yeah, it smooths out here, so it's much better right here. Maybe that part of the road back there is like a private road or something. I don't know. Maybe that's why it's not as maintained as well. I don't know. But this is nice. And here we're actually in the parking lot area now of the boat launch. And hey.
Free parking's right here to the left.
Okay, can I just drive around there real quick and then come back? Thanks.
Have a good day.
You too. I was about to pull through. I didn't think anybody was in there. Oh man, so yeah, the parking lot's in much better shape than that road. See where I was gonna go. I guess I'm not the only one who likes that view. But you can see the river off to the right. And yeah, it's just really nice. But anyway, I was here this morning earlier this morning, it still is morning. I was here earlier this morning at about, I don't know, 6:30-ish, 6:45. It was just so nice. Nice and peaceful, quiet. And yeah, just nice. Man, just felt good being here. And I walked around a bit, just took in the nice, cool, fresh morning air, and walked down by the river. It's a good view of it here. Got a guy out on his boat over there to the right. Nice little beach area here, some picnic tables. There's the boat ramp. Then I walked over to this little park area right here that's in front of us, where the sprinklers are going. And I think there was like, I don't know, this place on the weekends, there's a line of trucks and other vehicles pulling their boats. The line sometimes wraps around the parking lot, or halfway around the parking lot. And everybody launching the boats into the river. There's people walking around, people hanging out on the shore of the river because there's little beach areas. And yeah, it's just really enjoyable, really pleasant, really nice. And I enjoyed coming out here. Now I prefer it when there's not as many people, but even when there's people, a lot of people, it's so nice. It's not like crowded or anything. anything. I don't mean there's that many people. So yeah, I just totally enjoy it. Totally enjoy being here and many other places. You've seen my other videos when I'm over this other area. Bullhead, it's called. And going along the Colorado River there. I've been there many times. I've gone swimming in the river. Yeah, it's really cool, really nice. Over there, tends to be a lot more people going to the river, just hanging out. But yeah, I like being at the river. I like being at lakes. I'm trying to think of what lakes I've been to around here. What lake is around here? There's a lake. Oh, man, I can't remember the name of it, but it's up by the Davis house right here. I don't think they'll let me though. So what can you do? Just wish and want, right? And then a lake and a river, and another one. I don't know if it's considered a lake or not, but it's because it's made by a dam. Lived in a couple other places. I lived in some cities as a kid too, in the city. But most of my childhood, I bike around town, riding my bike on trails in the mountains, and swimming in the lake, the two lakes there, and the river. And just there was always, water nearby. It's how I grew up. I loved it then, and I still love it now. There's far less rivers and wrong. But you'd have to drive several hours to get, where there's like mountains with, more lakes and rivers and that sort of thing. And that's how I grew up in it. I just love it, man. There's nothing like jumping in a lake, just swim to the buoys, to the end of the buoys, and then swim back. If you could do that, your fellow kids, and they thought it was really cool. I did swim out to the buoys and back. Yeah, I learned to swim at an early age. I think I swam at 7 or 8 years old. And haven't stopped since. You don't forget. I did that. I remember when I would, think about doing it, contemplate doing it. I thought, man, I swim around a lot. I'm a good swimmer. I swim a lot. I could swim out there. And I just kept going. I went for it. I just kept swimming. Oh, there were a couple times I'd go part way out. That's right. And I'd swim along the side buoys because, the buoy sectioned off area and the fourth side was the shore, the land of, the shore of the lake out. I don't know what the distance would be. And then at the end, another string of buoys, these at the end. So I would swim along the buoys on the sides in case, I needed to grab onto. So I remember a couple times, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3, a few times, I don't know, swimming along those just in case, like, hey, I'm going to have this here. If I need to grab onto it, if I get tired, I can't make it, whatever, I can grab onto the buoy, ropes or chains, and hang on for a little bit, take a break, continue swimming, or if need be, just work my way back along the buoys and pull myself back to shore. So I did this. I can actually swim this distance. So I swam out there from the shore to the end of the buoys, along the shoreline though. I mean, along the shoreline, along the buoy line. Swam out there, touched the buoys, and I think I hung there for a moment. And it was cool to accomplish that feat as a young kid. Now, that's not when I was 7 or 8. Like I said, I learned how to swim when I was 7 or 8. I don't know how old I was. Geez, I lived there for years. It was hilly and somewhat wooded. The other lake was forested and wooded, woods and trees. Oh, yeah, and they had rope swings there. They had what was called the big rope and the little rope. Then me and my friends, it was so fun. We swung it on those ropes and just let go. The lake, and it's kind of not a cliff, but definitely a steep embankment. And there's trails. There's like trails that reach up there. You can cross at one end of this lake. This was kind of a smaller lake, but on one end, you could get to where it was like a little creek area or sometimes a river, but a smaller river. And you could cross there on some rocks, you know, step on the rocks, or if it's low enough, you could just kind of go through it. Anyway, you could cross on that end and take the trails along there to get to the ropes, or you could cross at the dam, which was closer to the ropes, the fence on one side. And for one, it was cool until it was closer to the ropes. So you cross the dam, and then there's a trail, and you take the trail you go left on the trail to the ropes. And the first rope is the little rope, and a little further down the trail is the big rope. And so that was always fun as a kid to go up there and cross the dam. And there was, so we, you know, walk through there, trek through there, and get our feet wet always. And it was just cool back. But the other side was angled, a very steep slope. And some kids would talk about sliding. Inches of water would flow over there, and we'd walk through there, and it'd be like maybe ankle deep at the most. But of course it would flow over, right? So, and you could see it flowing down the angled dam, you know, the angled side of the dam. And some kids, kind of like a chain link fence. Okay. In fact, I think it was a chain link fence, not kind of like, but it was. Well, it didn't go lower, it would flow over. Well, the fence didn't go lower. The fence just went straight across. So there was an area where you could fit through. Thinking back now as an adult, looking at it, wow, why wouldn't they make the fence to go lower? How very unsafe, but who knows? Maybe nowadays that fence does go lower at that part. Anyway, so kids would talk about sliding down that. Excuse me, wow, had a yawn there. And I remember as a kid being smart enough to think, you're out of your mind. You are going to slide down this? You're thinking of sliding down this. Sliding down the dam where the water runs over. You know, it's kind of mossy on that other side because of all the water over the years flowing down it. And at the bottom, it was just rocks and branches, like big, you know, logs and stuff like that. And I'm just like, you're out of your mind. You're going to slide down this? You're crazy. Now, to my knowledge, nobody ever did it. There was always, you know, it's always like this, like, who did it? Who? You can never like pin it down, right? And I never saw anybody do it. And yeah, probably some broken limbs, and you'd be injured. If you survived, you would be injured, man. You'd have broken bones, scraped up just from sliding down the concrete of a dam, and you'd be cut up probably from who knows what, whatever you'd hit down there at the bottom. Man, craziness. Now, if you went down on I don't know, a tube or something, it's not going to end good. That might protect you, be a little bit of a barrier between you and the dam as you're sliding, but it's probably going to tip over. You're going to tumble head over feet, or I'm sure at some point it's just going to go bad. And then, of course, ultimately, the ultimate bad is you're going to hit the bottom. You never did it, honestly. Well, anyway, but swimming in that lake was just amazing. I loved it. Now, it would get a little scary sometimes because they said somebody was scuba diving down there and they saw this fish. I'm sure, right? You know, as a kid, you kind of believe it, but they said there was a catfish down there that was the size of a Volkswagen bug. And you start comparing the size of a Volkswagen bug and how big that mouth must be and how big you are, which they don't seem aggressive. Do they eat people? You know, you start trying to think, well, maybe they wouldn't do anything. But then the other part of your brain is, or, you know, the other thought is, well, they might, or they might eat you by accident. Just, you know, scoop you up in their mouth, you know? So yeah, it was, but they said they stay near the bottom, so you're okay if you swim by the top. But so I'd swim there and it was fine. And there were things like tadpoles and pollywogs. Are those the same things? I don't know. I think we use that word interchangeably for the same thing. But sometimes you'd see them in the process of becoming a frog. Like they'd have little legs. Salamanders, red-bellied salamanders. I would catch snakes when I lived there. Like Yeah, I'd catch snakes. Now, if I saw a snake, the last thing I would think of doing is catching it. I'd just look at it and be like, okay, I'm glad it's going that way. And yeah, I believe it's a king snake. It's black and white, these black and white kind of wide bands or stripes, I guess you could call it, these wide bands down the length of it or down the whole thing. I'd catch those. There was another one, I think they're called red racers, kind of a dark snake, and it was a smaller snake, and it had a reddish stripe, thin line on each side of it, either side of it, from head to tail, if I recall correctly. Kind of funny the things you'll do as a kid that as an adult you'd be like, or at least me anyway, I'm like, nah, no thanks. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. So going out there to the dam, where the lake was, that had the ropes, you know, that you swing off of, and the dams and all the polywogs, tadpoles and whatnot. Oh, and crawdads. Or we'd go across the dam, and we'd just go over to the rope swings, and man, just for hours, you have no idea how fun that is for a kid. Now you need to know how to swim. Don't get yourself in a serious situation, a serious problem. Don't go doing that unless you know how to swim. But you know, I was a good swimmer as a kid, and apparently everybody else there was too. Climb back up the embankment, you know, there's some tree roots sticking out. We kind of made a little trail and doing it to it. Mountain Dew. Anybody remember that old jingle? So yeah, that was really fun. A lot of fun. Did that, I don't know how many summers, countless times. I can't tell you how many times we went there and swung out on that rope. It was just so much fun. And then sometimes we would always say, like, it was like an unknown rule, like the knots on a branch on the tree where people can reach it when they come back, you or anybody else. But some people would let the rope dangle. Well, it's over the water, so you can't reach it if they do that. But every now and then we get there and go out on that branch and get the rope swinging to one of us, and we'd catch it. And then we'd all be good at that point. And then when someone jumps off the rope into the water, it swings back, and the next guy on the trail or whoever grabs it and holds on to it. And yeah, man, we just did that. It was so much fun. So fun. I'm going to have to save that one for another time, but hope you enjoyed the story, everybody. Well, not everybody, but be good.